The Electric Rodeo is an adult toy megastore podcast about sex, toys, pleasure, and relationships.
It contains adult themes, adult language, and probably too much information about our sex lives.
Sorry, Mum. Kia ora, everyone. Welcome to the Electric Rodeo. I'm your host, Emma Hewitt.
And I'm as horny as my surname indicates, Tash Bull.
Oh, Tash, what are we going to do with you? Is this going to be every episode?
Am I going to be horny every episode, or am I going to say something stupid every episode?
Yeah, both. Answer both questions.
Yes to both.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as always, pleasure to have you.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Wink, wink.
So today we are talking about horniness, but particularly the horniness of men. So today we're even going to be joined by a man.
I'm very excited for this man to be here. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
I wonder why.
So just a little disclaimer, we are using the term man because our guest today is a man named Jay Johnson. He is a cis man. He identifies as a man. He has a penis. So that's kind of what we are talking about today, is basically sexuality and toys from the male of someone, from the perspective of someone that uses penis toys.
Yes. However, we do recognise that not everyone who is a man, has a penis.
Exactly. So we've got lots of interesting topics to talk about today, I think. This might just be me. I have a theory that people with a vulva using a sex toy is like, yes, queen.
Absolutely.
Girl power.
Yeah.
Go girl.
Reclaiming.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it's like, men masturbating, yes. Obviously going to do that. Using a toy, weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hey, it's very expected for men to be masturbating, especially like from a younger age. But as soon as you throw a toy in there, it's like, oh, bit of a perv.
Yeah.
No.
How did this happen? Where did this come from? These are the questions that we are hopefully going to answer today in the show. But I do just want to have a little start. As you know, we do have a bucket list happening.
Yeah.
So we do need to do the episode check-in. So Tash, where you at? What's been happening?
Oh, what's been happening? Lots. That's actually a lie. I've been sick, so not lots has been happening. I have ticked 2 things off my bucket list, though. I feel like that's good progress.
That is good progress.
2 out of 9.
Yes. What do we got?
So the threesome. That definitely took place after the start of the season.
As you know.
And the B-Vibe butt plug.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So very excited about that.
I so want to know your thoughts. We are going to talk about that in its own sort of episode a little bit later in the season. But give me something.
Give you something. Okay. How was my experience? I'll try and sum it up.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a partnered experience with my lovely partner, George. Shout out to George. Shout out to Georgie boy. It was a partnered experience. It is probably the biggest butt toy that I've used, actually,
big.
other than a real-life penis attached to my real-life boyfriend. It was the biggest toy that I've worked with, which was definitely interesting. There was a lot more prep involved, but it was really fun. Like, George and I have been together for a long time, and we've been doing anal play for almost the same amount of time.
Straight in.
Yeah, so we've got a good system going. He knows kind of like what's necessary to make me feel safe and comfortable. I was the one using the toy. He's not into the idea of having a butt plug in him, which is absolutely fine. It was really cool. It was definitely different, obviously, with the B-Vibe mechanism with the rim, because it's a rimming plug. It was certainly different from what I've tried before.
Okay.
So I do have a lot to speak on, but that's my little tidbit.
Oh, I love that. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
And
you?
My only one thus far is a little bit of the old sex magic. I'm doing jazz hands behind the scenes. Because obviously we talked recently to Vixen all about sex magic, which was absolutely amazing. And so what I've done is I've got it myself this really cute little black notebook, and I have started taking down notes and plotting things out and thinking about what I want, what my affirmations and my intentions are going to be. And I've just started prepping, and I've started listening to this really cool podcast called the Sex Magic Podcast, and I've just been getting it absorbed into the world. And then
Totally.
I realised, I was like, hang on, you haven't actually done any yet. So it's like a half tick.
I mean,
I'm putting
same,
in the work.
I'd say it's like, I think that's like saying foreplay isn't part of sex. I think that is absolutely true. Part of the process, because with magic and manifestation and all of that sort of thing, it's a lot about energy. And I think even though it feels like maybe research for you listening to a podcast, I find for myself, whenever I'm kind of doing my own internal meditation, manifestation stuff, journaling for me is like a really big part of it. So I think having the book, doing all the learning, starting to like get into it and just feeling a little more magical, I think you absolutely have started getting into it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, there we go then. Tick for me. 2 ticks for Tash. I'm sorry, absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
So flying through. One week I'm going to come in and I'll have ticked off like 6 things and be like, sorry, I was really horny last week.
Had a big weekend, everyone.
Had a lot of friends over. Very good. Go us.
Go us. Okay, well.
Pat on the back for sex stuff.
Yay. So let's dive into it then. This is going to be a really fun episode. I know that we have lots of male-identified listeners because Spotify tells me that.
Oh,
they give me the data. So this is for you. Finally, our first episode with a man.
Dedicated to men.
Love men. Great job. Stay strong out there. So Jay is a cis man. He's a big fan of the podcast. He's also an avid toy user. And he's tall, dark-haired, and handsome. And I'm allowed to say that because I am, number one, a perv, but I am also Jay's girlfriend of 8 years. Jay, welcome to the Electric Rodeo.
Oh, stop it. And thanks for having me. Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, gorgeous. We're so happy to have you here.
Are people who haven't been dating Jay for 8 years allowed to say that he's handsome?
Absolutely. I'd love to hear it.
Well, I'm going to take his word on it. So.
You're too kind.
I didn't say it.
It was implied.
I was asking if I could say it.
It was heavily implied.
So, quick disclaimer before we jump into it. Jay did used to work for Adult Toy Megastore as a graphic designer, so he has been involved in the sex toy industry world before, but, you know, more than anything, he's just your average good time guy.
He's just your average good time guy.
Just a good time guy.
That's why he's on the show.
Very interesting job, I have to say.
Graphic design?
Yes, the most interesting content I've ever had to work with.
Yeah, well, dildos and butt plugs are famously fun, aren't they?
Precisely.
I'm sure the source material was really, really nice.
Yeah.
So on that note, the reason that we have Jay here today is to talk about sex toys as a man with a penis. So Jay, we're just going to start things off with you just telling us a little bit about your penis. No, I'm joking. So tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are around sex toys generally.
Yeah, I guess dating you, I've been really thrown in the deep end. I had some previous experience, of course, but nothing like the level of, in the deep end I was thrown, like when we started dating, and of course I started working at Adult Toy Megastore around the same time.
True.
So, and at that point, there wasn't a separate warehouse like there is nowadays. So all the toys were in the office where we were working out of every day, and it was really really eye-opening for me. Like
the Wild West out there.
Oh my God, there were just dildos everywhere, full-size blow-up inflatable dolls.
Jealous.
44-gallon drums of lube.
Accidentally being ordered multiple times.
Yeah, so it was a lot to take on board. I was kind of pretty overwhelmed to begin with, but yeah, it's all been fun and funny the whole time. Like, yeah, you've been a great introduction to a lot of things, so it's been great. You kind of know what you're talking about, so that's helpful.
I try really hard. So as my boyfriend, I think it's safe for the listeners to assume that you also use sex toys, and they would be correct. But do you think that there is stigma around guys using sex toys?
Yeah, I think definitely that exists, especially like the Kiwi blokey culture kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like my background's from a boys-only school, wearing grey uniforms, where, you know, it's like the sports team is the head of the school and they're the champions. So, yeah, and like homophobic slurs are a common practice, and you know what I mean? So to go from that background to I've seen the kind of stigma against it and my own journey with it opening up to, wider and wider to more, just being more inclusive or more interested in what is available out there it's been a process for sure.
So do you think that do you talk to your friends about toys at all? Is it something that you think guys in general do? Because for me, I'm like, as soon as something fun comes into the office, that's going straight in the chat with the girls,
Well,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And even we're friends outside of work, obviously, as well, but we'll talk about sex toys all the time. But then when I'm with my friends that don't work in this industry, I'll talk about sex toys all the time. So is that something that you do? Do you have people you discuss them with?
Nowadays I do.
Okay.
I think in the past it wouldn't have been that normal.
Yeah.
The stigma thing again, even talking about sex in general with your mates when I was a bit younger would have been weird to me. But nowadays I have more kind of liberal, open-minded friends, I guess.
Good for you.
Yeah, we do. Even friends from way back in the day, but we've gotten to a point in the relationship where we can talk about this stuff. So common friend of ours, Ash, is a good mate of mine and I can talk about anything with him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And we've built toys together.
What?
True. Yeah.
What have you built?
So we did a harness making workshop.
Oh, yes. That was
Together.
super cool. I remember that.
Yeah.
At Shoe School with Lou. It's very good. I suggest you all check it out, especially if you're in
right.
Melbourne, because she's about to move to Melbourne.
That's right. Hard plug, but go make a harness with Lou. She's amazing.
If you're in the Wellington region or Melbourne in
Yeah.
the next 3 months.
We made collars with Ash as well, actually.
And collars also, yeah.
Jay's a bit of a pro at building sex toys, actually, because he's made the gear, but he's also made a spreader bar, a bondage cross.
I turned our old bed into a bondage cross.
And it was amazing. And then it was so sad because when we moved away to Spain, we tried to give it away to a friend, but no one would take it. And he put it on Vic
We put it on
Deals.
Vic Deals. No takers.
Do you have a photo of that? I feel like we need to share this with people because I myself am very curious as to what this looks like.
I'll find some. There might have to be some areas blurred out, to be honest, but we'll see what we can do.
Surely on an old hard drive somewhere.
Oh my God. Okay. Cool. So you're a graphic designer and also a Libra, which means we know you're all about the aesthetic.
Classic Libra.
Yes. Do you think that the look of sex toys, especially kind of male sex toys, what they traditionally look like, more so than what they look like now, do you think that has had an impact on kind of the ability for you to be able to talk about it or share it with other people?
Yeah, interesting question. I think it's definitely changed a lot in the from when I first remember hearing about sex toys or even sex shops, they had this real dirty stigma, some creepy old dude working behind the counter, and the industry has changed, obviously, but it's changed so dramatically.
It's just us now. It's just the girls
They
behind
look
the
like us
counter.
now.
Now it's just young, cool girls out
Creepy
there
young girls.
slinging sex toys. But no, I think it's come a long way. I guess it's made it less stigmatizing for men as well. But yeah, aesthetically, I think male toys are still marketed more in a kind of pornographic sense,
100%.
whereas female toys have kind of shed, whether it had that to begin with, but they're very almost neutral, nice colors and playful, more like toys than a sexualized object, I guess.
Yeah, well, vulva toys as well, I feel like are marketed a lot as wellness products now.
Yeah.
And you don't
Yes.
see that kind of language for men's toys. It's marketed as the need is get off.
Yeah.
Do it this way.
Go
Whereas
jizz in the shower.
for us, it's this could be a wellness thing that can take care of yourself. And it's that should be the case for everyone. Everyone should be get my wellness toy, my little penis pump.
No, there's definitely still a difference in the way they're marketed, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's heading in the right direction.
Yeah. I think it's nice that there's a bit of a shift away from I feel like back in, God, probably still the early 2000s, it was you're a dude and you wanted a sex toy, you could get tits, ass, or vulva. And it wasn't called a vulva, it was going to be called a pussy, and there was no other option. And that's it. It was all fake body parts or a full doll, why not? And that's great, and that's still cool, and those still exist, and they're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that there was nothing else and no other option for that is kind of crazy. Although in saying that, I guess that was kind of the same for people with a vagina as well, because initially it was all dildos. And
rabbits though.
Yeah,
Rabbits,
that's true.
The rabbit was the big revolutionary.
Yeah,
It
that
didn't
was
look
the
like
big one.
Yeah, an anatomical thing. Looked kind of robotic and crazy.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I haven't met anyone that looks like that personally.
But that was deliberately made to get around
Unlucky.
obscenity laws in Japan. They weren't
Really?
allowed to have anything that looked like a penis. So they made
Oh,
something
right.
that was a rabbit because it's not a penis. It doesn't look like a penis. It looks like something else.
What? But they were allowed to have stuff that looked like vaginas?
Don't know if they were manufacturing them at that point.
True.
Good question, though. We'll find that out.
Don't have the answers to everything, do we? Okay, so what was your first ever sex toy? Was it something that Emma got you into, or did you have one independently first?
The first one that I ever actually kind of used regularly, or that I acquired myself, I actually built in Vienna. I was visiting Ash, the friend of ours that I was talking about. I was living in Europe at the time. I went to visit him. He was living in Vienna, and we went to like this kind of punk bike workshop called the Bike Kitchen. But it turned out, and I didn't know this, but it was also like a kink-friendly and kind of queer-friendly space.
Cool.
So we were there working on our bikes together and turned around and there was a guy building a whip.
Fabulous.
And I kind of asked him like, hey man, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, do you want to do a whip workshop with me? So I ended up sitting down with him and my mate
Hell
Ash
yeah.
and we made whips together.
What?
That's
Out
so
of
fun,
old
right?
bike inner tubes.
Oh my God.
And so then I was hooked. I was like, oh, you can build them yourself. It's really accessible. I'd never really experimented with impact play before, and it was kind of an introduction to all of that stuff as well. Yeah,
That
it was
makes
really
me,
fun.
That makes me think, I feel like, to really put the level up for marketing towards men, DIY sex toy workshops.
So true.
Not obscene, and, still get your hands dirty and then get your hands dirty. I
Right.
mean,
But there is some funny shit like
That's
this.
right.
Because there's like...
Indoor outdoor flow.
Oh, beautiful. But there's those masturbators that are in the shape of grenades. And I'm like, yes, men,
Yeah.
blow your dick
So
up.
tough.
And then there's also the cock rings that are like, are they called nuts?
oh,
The
yeah,
yeah,
metal
yeah,
things.
yeah.
And I'm just like, I fucking love this
I
because
know.
it's like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm a man. I only fuck grenades.
Fix your sink, fix your dick.
Oh my God, absolutely. Do you have any fun ones like that?
Not shaped like, the hammer.
We've got the hammer.
The love
the
hammer.
love hammer,
That's kind of industrial.
Not a male toy. Not
not
allowed
a-
to talk about it on this episode.
Why isn't it a male toy?
Okay.
Not
You got
explicitly
me there.
male, but it does. I would say it's multi-purpose.
I was fooled by the marketing and I apologise.
All those beautiful floral designs on the outside of the box, which it literally does have, which is so funny because it's inside hammer, outside beautiful floral design on the box.
It does come with a tool belt as well. So
Yes,
that's
but it's
like,
pink so that you know it's for women.
yeah, right.
Mine's black.
Look, okay? They have a pink one.
Tash, I brought you on this show because I thought that you too were a
Wow.
sex toy expert, and today we're learning.
Multiple
Today we're learning.
variations.
Today we're learning. Okay, fine.
Jay, can I ask though, what was your first non-kink toy?
yeah.
Because I don't even think I know this, or I can't remember.
Yeah, right. I think it was restraints. I guess that's still kink.
Non-kink.
Pink.
A
I'm
butt plug
talking.
then.
Yeah, there we go.
Like a P-spot butt plug, not with the previous partner, but I think she got one and introduced it to us, and I was like, oh yeah, kind of intimidated, I guess. It's kind of it was a new thing to me, but it felt great.
Yes, they do.
Cosine. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously you guys have a lot of toys. I've been to your house. I've seen the toy storage. What's your favourite toy?
Yeah, favorite for me personally
Yeah.
is the Tantus C-ring. Very simple, but super easy to use, enhances a lot of sensation. Yeah, just super fun.
Is it just like a silicone
It's just
O-ring?
a silicone one, but
Fabulous.
this is also the one that, remember, the dog used to quite enjoy flicking
We've lost
around
a
the
few
house.
to the dogs.
We've found
over the
them
years.
on at the end of the driveway where the dogs obviously flicked it off the balcony. It's because they do, you know how dogs love to flick shit? They
Yeah.
flick really well.
It's pretty much a chew toy for dogs as well as being a cock ring. So I get it.
That is kind of good because if you guys ever get, you get one of those grenade toys, someone would see that and they would assume it's a dog toy more than they would assume it's a sex toy.
Well, funnily enough, we have these dog toys at home called the Kong, and everyone that comes around is like, oh, is that
is
your
that
butt
a-
plug?
Yes.
Wait, I haven't seen that one. Have I?
Yes, it's the thing she flicks around on the
yeah,
rope. We
okay.
put the rope through it. Yeah, people always assume I was like, it's quite big, guys.
You know why I
It
didn't
also
assume
doesn't
that?
have a flared base, so let's be real.
I was going to say I wouldn't have
No
thought
base, no
that,
trace.
but that's because I'm an expert.
But yeah, that one, simple, effective.
Fabulous.
And it was one of the first things we played with. And yeah, it was just super fun.
They are fun. He loves the cock ring.
Ew.
So is there anything I've brought home that has been an instant no for you? Or something that I've talked about that you're just like, God, no.
Yeah, the electricum stuff.
It's on my bucket list.
This is a point of contention, but I got a really bad electric shock from a electric fence when I was a kid. I got tangled up and constantly
yes,
shot
I've heard
to
about
pieces.
this.
So the thought of electricity and sexual stuff just doesn't meld with me.
Yeah.
And I demoed it and was like, if you can feel the sensation, but it was instantly it made me almost dry rich.
You
know what
refuse,
I mean?
but you won't even touch it.
I've touched one of them.
When?
I've touched one of them.
When?
You were there.
All right, this
it was a
isn't
long
for
time
you.
ago.
Oh, disclose more information.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to use that by myself then. Or find
I'm
a friend,
here.
Tash.
Hello. Let's do it in studio.
Yeah, true. That will be fun. It feels nice because it feels like tingling. This is what I say when I try and make Jay. I don't try and make Jay, but I try to suggest to Jay that it's going to be a different sensation to what he's thinking. Because it's not a zap. It's a whoop. No, it's not a whoomp. It's like it feels like it's tingling. And the more you turn it up, it actually makes your muscles clench, which is like what happens when you have an orgasm as well. So it can actually be very good in like making you orgasm quickly. But so I was like, it just feels fun. You know, I want to be an electric eel. I want to put on MGMT and have electro sex with you and be a little electric eel.
Oh, fabulous.
That's all I want.
You know, I just realised I knew that it didn't go womp. I was thinking about the time that I touched an electric fence.
See, that's a womp, right?
That goes womp.
They do go womp.
And really
Sorry.
not hot.
No, it didn't turn me on, but I was a child. Anyway.
So what about something that you are intrigued by that you haven't tried yet? What's something you want to try?
The cowgirl was
Oh!
a most recent acquisition, based off of this podcast, I believe. Bucket
was.
list item.
Thank you so
Yeehaw.
much.
Yeehaw. So yeah, that when Emma brought it home, I had to go and pick it up because it weighs a bloody ton and it's very large.
I couldn't lift it. It's a sex machine, by the way. I think in my bucket list in the first episode, I may have just said sex machine. So the cowgirl is the sex machine that we're talking about, which I'll talk about a little bit more later in the season. But continue.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's like hard to describe, but it's so beautifully well made, packaged. It goes up to what, like 20,000 RPM, which seems
It's going to shake the house down.
absurd. Yeah, it seems almost OP, but
What's
bringing
OP?
it overpowered.
Oh,
You don't know what OP is?
no. I know OTT, over the top.
Oh my God.
Similar.
So close.
Okay, I'm learning too. Yeah, it's great. It like plugs into the mains and everything. So it's like, woof, like it's going to be power. That will be very fun. We've had to put it in the garage because it is, in fact, the same size as our whole house.
And Pixie the dog is going to be absolutely
Terrified.
off of it. So she's going to go ballistic.
And you don't want her getting a hold of any of the attachments.
No, we don't, because
Flicking
they
them
are
up to your
silicon
neighbours.
too. We'll have to get a babysitter for her and send her off
Send her to
somewhere
the
that
kennel
day.
for the weekend.
My baby.
Do it for the podcast, Emma.
I know. Fine. Okay, well, because I thought just then you were going to say pegging. So let's talk about your thoughts on pegging, because people are scared of it. People that are like straight cis men, some of them are really into it, but a lot of them are freaked out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, I think it comes back to that stigma with all the homophobic slurs being used as we're growing up. Like this being gay is seen as negative, which is totally not at all. Like that's
And still
really
now.
ridiculous. Yeah. And harmful to a huge amount of really awesome people. So yeah, whether you relate it back to that or not, but even just from a physiological thing, like it might be uncomfortable or it could hurt, right? And it could be different for everybody. But once you get past the stigma, and that could be a big hurdle for a lot of people. But yeah, it's pretty normal, right? Like people have been doing it for tens of thousands of years.
You got a prostate, like let's use it.
If
let's
I
work
had a
it.
prostate, I would want to know what's going on.
Yeah, same.
Me personally, but I completely understand. I do empathise with
Yeah.
that stuff.
And
but
I mean,
like-
I think anal play is scary for anyone that's not like a pro at it as well.
Yep.
And there are steps and prep and things that you do to make that pain go away. But if you don't know all those steps or you don't know who to ask about all of those steps and stuff, then I understand that it can be scary as well. And I hate the gay thing. It's just like putting something in your butt does not make you gay. Being attracted to other men as a man is what makes
I think
you gay.
fucking
or
wanting to
bi.
fuck a guy is what makes you
Like,
gay.
Yeah, like, come on.
Yeah, get over it, everyone.
So scared.
2023, get
yeah,
over it.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of scared little bitches, why do you think so many men, not all men,
Not all men.
but let's face it, plenty of men, why do you think that they are intimidated by the idea of their partners having sex toys or using sex toys with or without them?
Yeah, maybe it's that again, it's probably a stereotype, but like the masculine dominant have to be in control, have to be the dominant partner. And I guess normal sex is like giving and not receiving sort of thing. So maybe giving up some of that dominance or giving that position could be a thing for people. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because it's like...
Sorry, I keep kicking your foot. I'm not trying to play footsies with the
Oh my
kids.
God,
Get out of it.
Stop flirting with my boyfriend.
So sorry.
Because, like, for me, I struggle with people that are like that. And, like, as an educator, I know that I need to just be nicer about it. But I'm just like, get a fucking handle on yourself. Like, what are you so afraid of? Like, people should be able to give themselves pleasure because that's a good thing. It doesn't take anything away from you. If anything, let's do it together. Like, that's so much fun.
Absolutely.
You know, like, there are just so many positive things to, like, owning sex toys and using sex toys and exploring your body and learning more about your body and actually like figuring out what feels good to you and then feeding that back to your partner and being like, yo, if you do this, this is going to feel awesome. And then every time you do it, it feels awesome. And it's just like a perfect world.
What was it? Stifler in American Pie where he got the anal orgasm from the nurse. Everybody remembers that, right? And it was...
I actually don't.
You don't remember that?
No.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sure...
Tasha's so young.
I'm pretty old nowadays.
So
Yeah,
young.
you're
So
bloody
young and
Gen Zs
beautiful.
over here.
Sorry.
But yeah, there was a scene in this movie where a nurse gave him an anal orgasm and he had an unexpectedly amazing time. And it's like that, right?
Oh, yes.
So once you get over all the stigma and the bullshit, it can feel pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why you kind of like, especially hearing you guys talk about how you got into toys and knowing my experience with my partner, I think it's quite increasingly common for especially like cis heterosexual men or just cis men to get into toys through their partner, who's usually a woman, introducing it into the bedroom and then them being more okay with being like, okay, well, I can also have this in my alone time. Because that was the thing with George, like it was something we did together. And then I started working at ATMS and I was like, here's some toys for you to enjoy by yourself. Also, I don't know if it occurs to you guys that you can do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as normalized. I think it takes somebody introducing it to you, unless you're like a super like some people, of course, might be really curious and super into it. And I've met people like that as well, but I don't think it's as normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you say, yeah.
Because funnily enough, like, I think based on the number of toys in the shower, you use toys more frequently than I do.
How many toys are in your shower?
Well, 3 currently.
One of them is yours.
One is mine, but 2 are yours. And mine's kind of shoved, but I haven't used it in a little while. It's kind of shoved behind the shampoo and conditioner.
Just in case the guests are in the shower.
You can actually see them the minute you walk into the bathroom.
I haven't noticed them ever, but I will be looking now when I go to your place in 2 days' time.
Have a look. Yeah, I think you probably use them more frequently than I do now.
Could be.
Yeah.
Do you think that generally there's more education around sex and sex toys available for women than men?
Yeah, good question. I guess not having that experience of being a woman and experiencing education, it's kind of hard to put a real gauge one off of the other. But it does seem maybe more normalized. Like there seems to be a lot of like YouTube channels and sex positive websites towards females or queer people especially, than particularly marketed towards men.
I think also potentially women engage with it a bit more, but I think that's because I think for a lot of women, it's about like introduction to sex toys is very much reclaiming your own sexuality or like just an introduction to understanding your own sexuality. And so maybe that's why we engage with it more.
Yeah, potentially. I think it's like something that at some point in our lives we're expected to learn about. And if we don't, your friends will be like, yo, don't accept this shit. Like, you should be having good sex. You should be doing this. Grab this toy. Do this. So maybe it comes back to the fact that, like, in female communities and stuff, we probably maybe talk about it a little bit more than others do. Maybe it's a bit more comfortable for us to, like, recommend this educator or this podcast or be like, you got to listen to this. You're so right. It's that real reclamation of your sexuality and stuff.
Yeah. Or do you have any like sex educators or podcasts or anything like that you've listened to where you can kind of learn about male sexuality there or that you know of?
Electric Rodeo is pretty good.
Yeah.
But hasn't been a lot of male focused stuff until today, perhaps. No, there's
First
We
time
have
we're
done
allowing
one
men.
episode.
See, that's what I'm saying. No, this one's great. Obviously, I pick up a lot kind of obliquely through M because she's also studying to be a sex educator. But more male-focused stuff, not so much. One more around like relationships and stuff is Modern Love, I think it's called, from the New York Times.
Yeah.
So that's kind of more about, I guess, less common relationship situations or just interesting love stories from the modern world. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Would you know of any?
I know a few actually. So Cam Fraser is a sex educator based in Australia who's really cool. He's got a podcast and he does lots of written content and stuff as well. And I think he might be on YouTube too. I'm not sure. But like Dan Savage is a really, really famous one.
I've come across a bit of his stuff actually, yeah.
Porn star name. Is that a porn star?
Don't know. He's a sex educator, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Podstar.
Yeah.
Podstar, porn star.
My other favourite is Dr. Justin Lehmiller, who is a sex researcher at the Kinsey Institute. And he has a book called Tell Me What You Want, which is all about like sexual fantasies and stuff like that. And he does a lot of really cool work. But yeah, like I have spent the last little while trying to find more because you're right. And like the podcast has been relatively vulva and veg focused. We're women. So it just kind of comes naturally. But you're so right, and I don't want it to be that way. I'm kind of trying to intentionally like focus a little bit more on things for people that aren't the same as me and don't have the same body types as me and aren't straight. Yeah. There's a lot of other topics and things that we can talk about, you know, we're improving.
I think there's a pretty big market for it as well there, like especially what the whole drama with the whole Andrew Tate thing getting really popular and whatever the opposite to that is, I think is what's needed, you know what I mean? To fill this gap of like, there's a lot of young men and boys who are coming into sexuality that maybe don't have like good resources for that kind of thing.
That's a really good point.
That are then being filled in with these shit people that are, you know, flooding
ideas.
the zone with crappy, terrible ideas.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe there needs to be a bit more of a push there. Come on, guys, let's do this.
Come on, guys, get sex toy wise. Oh my God, do you think we can get sued for stealing that?
Potentially. Can we use let's do this?
You don't know it, eh? You're too young?
No, I'm just laughing.
Okay.
I don't think the fire department would care nowadays. Who knows?
So let's assume that all the men listening have been super inspired by you and now they also want to start using sex toys. So what are the 3 things that you would recommend to like kick off your journey?
Yeah, again, the C-ring for yourself, super low risk or, you know, very low barrier to entry, very easy to use, very easy to clean. I've used some toys that take a whole cleaning routine before and I don't recommend getting into that unless you really, really love it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, C-ring's great. Even some kind of, for a partnered play, like an internal kind of G-spot toy, like what's that curved metal one?
The Lawand.
Lawand curve
Yeah,
thing?
One of their stainless steel collection.
Stainless steel?
Yeah.
They're pretty fun. Yeah, great for partnered play. Gives you a whole new... Yeah, a whole new appendage that you don't have. And then maybe something that vibrates or moves, like Em always says this, bodies don't vibrate. So you don't need to be threatened by something that vibrates because you can't do that, right? So
yeah, but the vibrator can't like cuddle you and give you positive words of affirmation.
Thank you. That's exactly what I need and you know it.
This metal appendage isn't really going to...
I don't have the AI-enabled vibrator yet that can like...
Not yet.
Any day now.
Soon.
And the third one?
That was the third one.
What?
Well...
No.
Cock ring.
Oh, another male toy though.
Yeah, strictly male. Oh, like the man one from Satisfyer. That's a nice
Loves
one
the man
for
one.
vibration on your penis. It's a unique experience, takes some getting used to, I would say.
Yeah.
But once you get the hang of it, yeah, it's pretty unique and pretty fun.
Yeah, George has that one and he likes it because, I mean, it's a bit different, right? Like it's not like when you're traditionally masturbating, you're just kind of griffing going up and down without getting too explicit.
The old griffin go.
They're all griffing up and down. Whereas that, you know, you can just kind of like hold it in a certain area or whatever. It's very different, but
very
nice
different,
form of stimulation.
Loves
great.
Fabulous. Okay, and to finish, because it's the reason for the season, what is the number one thing on your sex bucket list?
Ooh, yeah, good question. We've been kind of looking into like these lingerie parties and sex parties potentially.
Yeah, tell me that.
I told you to save it for the podcast.
Yeah, Emma came across one, I think it's in Auckland, like a lingerie party.
Yeah, the Naked World.
Yeah, which kind of like really sex positive, inclusive parties that they have, and everybody goes partying in their underpants sort of thing.
Right.
Underpants.
It's not
it sounds
like
sexy when you call them underpants.
Lingerie,
Underpants.
bring out your best lingerie.
So it's not like people aren't playing and having sex. It's just like partying in your
It's more
underwear.
of a party, this one. It's more of like kind of rave
Cool.
in your lingerie.
I wouldn't be able to do that. Just a bitty piece of lingerie, slap myself in the face.
Oh, you can go. You can go.
You can wear it
We
full
can strip
harness.
you in, yeah.
Full rope bondage.
Yes.
Yeah, hold them in place.
Yeah, but that sounds fun, like celebrating it with a bunch of people together.
That's such a good one.
Yeah, seeing some great outfits.
Jay just wants to wear his harness out to a
Yeah,
party.
that too.
I'm going to get compliments on my harness.
Everyone that likes it, you'll be like, I made this myself.
Made it in a
DIY,
workshop.
mate, DIY.
It's in our DNA.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for being
Yay.
here today as our man. We love having a man on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Great representation.
We're doing our best.
Straight, white, cis man.
Yeah, come on, try harder.
Nailed it, Electric Rodeo.
And this is the last time we will be seeing Jay on the show.
Okay, bye.
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 You've been listening to the Electric Rodeo podcast by Adult Toy Megastore.
Follow Electric Rodeo free on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And to keep up to date with our bucket list progress, follow at Electric Rodeo Podcast on Instagram.